Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you again, Gloria. Hi,
Thanks.
Dara. Hair's looking good. Can you hear me, Dara? Oh, I just can't hear you. You're muted.
Hello.
I said, good to see you. Your hair looks good.
Really?
You're cutting it shorter and shorter.
No, I only got it cut once. I got it cut short once, and now I'm just, I don't know. I'm gonna give up. I'm thinking about shaving my head. I hate it so much.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Good morning, Casey.
Good morning. I sometimes have similar thoughts, but out here in Arizona, you need a little coverage. Otherwise, you get sunburn on your butt and your head.
Well, I have that same problem in North Carolina. Actually having it longer has really helped my ears and my neck and all those places that get sunburn.
Yeah.
But I just am like not into hair maintenance. I just can, I would just as soon have a shaved head.
Yeah.
Dara, are you anywhere near Fayetteville in North Carolina?
I'm about 45 minutes north of Fayetteville. I'm in up near Raleigh.
Oh, okay. My daughter just got stationed at Fayetteville. She's in the Army.
Mhm.
I'm going to go next month. I'm going to fly into Raleigh to spend some time with her.
Mhm.
That'd be nice, Gloria. Tell me again where you're at. Are you in Florida, Gloria?
Orlando, Florida, yes. Andrea, I'm on the cell phone right now, which I'm normally on, but I did set up my laptop hoping to Zoom that way so you're not all tiny like you were last Thursday. But it's asking me for a meeting ID number. I don't have my mail on the laptop to click like I do on the cell phone. Could you give me an ID number so I could switch over?
I sure can. Let me just look it up for you real quick here.
Casey, where are you located?
We are just recently moved to Arizona from Connecticut. My
Oh,
husband's originally from Arizona, so we're kind of moving back.
okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
It's 970-434-54204.
Okay, thanks.
Hopefully that works for you. Okay, so I need an expert's opinion. I got as far as I can with this shirt here. You see it?
So cute.
Okay, so I was really proud. The darts came in gorgeous. You can't see them, but I know they turned out perfect because everything aligned perfectly. First time ever. So now after Joanne's demonstration, I can't get that phrase out of my head, make the inside as pretty as the outside. So what I want to know, so far it's coming together really cool. And I think this might be what you all keep calling the burrito, when you turn the whole shirt through the yoke.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
That was a blast. I'm hooked. Okay, so what I want to know is I want to feld these side seams because they use a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I have tons of room, but should I wait until the sleeve is on?
No, you have to do it now.
Okay, that's what
it'll be really hard to do. And I do a false fell. I don't do a real felled seam it's nice, but there's really no need for it. You want it to look nice on the outside, and forget what Joanne said about it has to look as good on the inside as it does on the outside. That stops so many people from finishing sewing projects. The only thing that matters is what looks like on the outside. So sorry, Joanne. I know that was drilled into your head, but don't go there. Just make it look good on the outside. The way I do the false fell is I go through and I, after my seam is sewn, I serge it and I trim off about 1/4 inch, like a scant 1/4 inch. I serge it, yeah, but only don't trim it all the way down. Just trim off like a sliver along the edge. And then I fold it down, and on the outside, I top stitch. I edge stitch right at the seam line, like just one needle width away from the seam line, and then I top stitch so that I catch that folded under. So I'm just going to press it to one side, and then I'm going to top stitch. And on the side seams, they go towards the back.
Towards the back.
So that
Okay.
your dart is not lumpy and you fold it over. So that your dart is like, you know what I mean? Because if you
Mhm.
folded it towards the front and then top stitch it, you get multiple
Oh,
layers
yeah.
right there at the dart. So
Yeah.
it goes towards the back. And that's how most commercial clothes are made these days. They
Really?
don't really do the whole flat felt thing anymore.
Okay, so with the top stitching, do you actually top stitch from the top or?
Absolutely, because it looks better on the top.
Okay,
And you can see what you're doing on the top. You can see that it's consistent. And don't get too crazy about your top stitching, because no one will ever see up in your armpit and up under your arm so much. Just be consistent and choose a width that looks good to you. Like your two
I'm
lines,
so
or just do a
happy
single line.
with the top stitching.
Very nice.
Now, the next question that I have, and I did just let it go so I could keep getting to the next level, because it wasn't a huge deal breaker for me, because as soon as I sit in the car, the back of the shirt's going to be wrinkled anyways.
Mhm.
When it gathers, when it calls for gathering, how perfect are those gathers supposed to be? Oh,
Just
okay.
consistent, just even.
Yeah.
What do you
They're
mean?
not pleats. If it was pleats, then I'd worry about trying to make things even. Gathers are supposed to be somewhat, amorphous.
Okay,
Andrea, to make, if you really want to get them more even, instead of just 2 rows of basting, you would add a 3rd row in between. They especially do this for baby garments. You see that it just makes the gathers just a little bit more classic, should I say, classy than just an bigger folds. It's a smaller fold.
okay. I think I will try that next time. With this print, it isn't really going to matter anyways. You're like, no, if you're that close to me, you're really close. And
We need to be having a different conversation and then about your gathering if they're that close. Yes.
yeah, I mean, they're probably trying to pickpocket me if they're that close. So, okay, thank you so much. I'm really excited about this. Like, I may dedicate the rest of my life to making shirts. Okay, fun, fun, fun.
Andrea, one other thing about the doing the flat felt on the side seams, the shirt I have has a lot of its shaping in that side seam, because remember, I don't have a side dart. So I wouldn't try and do it on that because it's too much of a curve. If you wanted to do it, you would have to, make some clips so that it would lay flat. So just keep that in mind if you're going to flat felt something. If there's a lot of curve in that side seam, you're going to have to either do clips or not do that. Just serge it and you're done.
Okay, it doesn't, I don't feel like it has a lot of shape.
No, that one doesn't, because the shaping is in the dart and you're fine, but that just wanted to kind of caution folks about that, because I know mine would not do well with that unless I clipped things.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what it
there it is.
generally looks like.
I wanted to see that.
Cute.
But a totally different look with this fabric, right?
Boy,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, like these are kind of frumpy. This one's like, take me to the park.
Doing a great job.
Oh, thank you, Joanne. You totally inspired me with the interior. I'm like, oh, I want to be able to wear my shirt inside out. Okay, let's start at the top. Doris, somehow you always end up at the top for me.
Oh, hang on, let me grab my shirt. All right, so this is my my test garment, my sample. I had an old piece of leftover challis, and I got it right on the first try. You can tell I've been sewing forever because I drafted the top and I compared it to other shirts that I have that fit comfortably, and I lowered the dart, which I always have to do. Why do it wrong the first time and then lower it? Like I did everything that I would normally do, and it came out right the first time. So this is my test garment. So I'm gonna make it in my good fabric, but I have another project that jumped in between. But I'm really happy with my, hang on, let me unbutton it. I made, I really like to make the back facings. I don't know if you can see it, if I get it closer, like
Ooh.
longer. Instead of that little skinny part, you see this a lot on men's shirts and sport shirts. And I just prefer it. And I just top stitched it. I serged the edge and then I top stitched it down. And even though my back is knit and my front is woven, since it opens in the front, I'm not gonna like break those stitches. I didn't use a stretch stitch on that top stitching, but it's fine.
Fun.
And then I just made my, I don't know if you can see a little bit, you can see, I just went and like made my facings like a consistent 1.5 inches and then did the same thing. I serged them and then top stitched them through the layers. This shirt goes together in like under an hour. It's so easy. It took more time to sew on the buttons than it did to like do the rest of the silly shirt. So, and I will actually wear this. Like this is a wearable test garment since I got the fit right.
Yay, very
Yay.
cool. But which pattern was that?
I drafted it myself
Oh, that's why.
because I couldn't find anything that would work. It has to be like big enough for the woven, but not too big for the knit. So
Mm, yeah, very, very nice. I love it. Okay, how about you, Casey?
So I didn't get to Joanne, so I'm still buttonless. But I share my shirt with you.
Mhm.
This
Mm,
is the
nice.
same pattern as the other one I did. That Faye has the same material. Remember the floral? It's the same pattern, so you can see how a different in a cotton it is. And I shortened up the sleeve, so it's a little bit more of a cap sleeve. I am particularly proud again of the matching. Did a pretty good job. My flowers kind of go up across, across there pretty well. And this one, the embroidery didn't go quite to the edge. So it actually gave me a chunk of material that I was able to use as the facing that's white. It doesn't have, that's how I keep track of what pattern it is and when I made it and stuff. So this is the same material. It just didn't have any embroidery because it was along the edge. And then, so the under collar has very little embroidery again, because I put it kind of in that space where there wasn't a lot of embroidery. So that came out pretty good.
It
did.
Beautiful, Casey. Does
Casey,
that,
do you have a stamp or something that puts the number in your pattern, in the fabric?
No, I use on my machine, I have letters that I can, and numbers that I can just embroider. It's in the ordinary sewing part. It's not as part of the embroidery. And it just will sew in a line. It's, the width of whatever your, the widest that I can stitch. And it just, I just program in the letters and numbers,
Oh.
and then it just stitches it out. And because this has interfacing underneath it, it holds up pretty well.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's
It
cool.
answers that question. What pattern did I make that out of?
you do that before you cut out the facing? Like you do it on a big piece and then cut it
No.
out, or do you?
No, because remember, this is not anything I have to put in the hoop. This is,
Right.
it just feeds through the regular machine. So I interface the collar stand. Now it's got enough interfacing stability that I can just run it through. So,
Hmm.
great idea. And then no one can steal your shirt.
That's like
I
putting your
can-
name in your clothes.
I've
Where did
done that. But I can remember when I was teaching, I wouldn't make my own jeans because I couldn't find them the right shape for me. And my students did not believe that I had done it. Well, by then, this time I had a serger. So all my students were finished with serging, and they just did not believe that I was actually making my own jeans because of the stitching and everything. So I figured this is a way that people will know I really did make this. I'm not gonna take a shirt apart to put that in and then put it back together. Mm-mm.
Where did you get your fabric, Casey? I love it.
I think I got this at Joann's, but I've carried this around with me for years. I think it's at least, I would say 7 or 8 years old at least.
It's very
So,
pretty.
yeah. And I went shopping. I remember last time or a couple times ago, I told you I got a box of material from from Nick at Time and I hadn't even opened it yet. We're a little busy. Well, I opened it And I'd gotten a sweater knit and I haven't made anything out of it yet, but how's about that?
Wow.
That's
Gorgeous.
Nice.
So
You're all set for Easter.
there we go. So that it works, that sweater knit, I think will go with a number of things in my wardrobe, but I thought that worked really well with that. So yeah.
So
Oh, and I'm a little behind on my accessory sewing. I didn't do the case for my computer yet. But I did get the fabric. So
cute.
I go with something fun and lively. They didn't have fabric to match they were out of the fabric to match my art case, but I figured this will be easy to spot.
And where's that material from?
This is from a quilt shop here in Prescott Valley. Quilt and Sew, I think it's the
They
name of
put
it.
stickers on it, Casey? Is that what? they do?
Yes. And the lovely thing about this is I keep track of this sticker, especially when I'm buying interfacing. And I just bring that back and I say, I want more of this.
Yeah.
That is clever.
So, yep.
Very cool. Nice work.
Yep.
Okay, how about you, Lynn?
Oh, well, I'm still working. Am I unmuted? I'm still working on the blouse. And, you know, it's the new look. So I did on the placket here today, I did it was a little ruffly. So I used my Angela Wolf, where is it? I don't use it very often. I should use it more. The block.
Oh, the clapper.
Yeah, and it really made a difference. Now it's flat and nice and ready for the buttonholes, but I put like one little top stitch right along the edge, which of course you cannot see. But on the pattern, it doesn't address, like in all the pictures, they have two top stitching, one right at the very edge and one like 2 inches away.
2 inches?
But they don't show that in any of the instructions. And I think, you know, it holds this placket down better, but it seems to be laying down just fine. But then they do a second one right along here. So I didn't know what you gals are doing that are making this same pattern. If you're,
I always go along and sew right at the edge of that facing from
Yeah.
the front side. I take my hand and I pin it so it's all like shaped properly and laying where it's supposed to be, and then I top stitch the whole thing all the way around.
Oh, yeah, well, it's too late because the collar's already stopped top stitched. But anyway, the whole thing is done. But then there's a second row.
Mhm.
Oh,
It shows, I
Right,
don't know
that's
that I
what I'm
need
doing.
it. You know, that's where I could really goof up. There was a second row on the pattern.
That's
So
what
I
I'm,
might-
I'm going on the inside edge of my facing, like on this.
Yeah, I did that.
The facing is, I'm top stitching that far side down.
Oh,
So I take it in my hand and lay it smooth because it's not flat. Now it's all shaped because you've put darts in it and the necklines there and everything. But I go along and I pin with my hand inside of it so that it's all smooth. And then I go to the sewing machine and top stitch that line. Just like your ready to wear stuff is always all finished on the inside.
right.
So
and for the pattern that I'm making, it has that folded placket so that, you know, it's just, you fold once, fold twice, and then that's your placket.
Yeah.
And they say to baste it in place. And then you just put the buttonholes in and sew the buttons on, and that's what holds the facing in place. And that works if it's a nice crisp, like this is a nice crisp linen. So I'm not gonna do any top stitching on, you know, it to hold that facing down because the buttons and the buttonholes will hold it down sufficiently. So that's another option.
Yeah, I don't want to make any crooked little, I want it, yeah, so I'm just going to skip it and use the buttonholes and the buttons. That's great.
Mhm.
That's great. So it's coming together. Won't be long. This morning I serged the sleeves. Oh, and the side seams because I had everything basted. So it is coming along. It just, you know, the shoulders are still a little bit too wide for me. So I had to make some adjustments, and I'm going to make it one more time just so to see if my adjustments make a perfect fit the second time.
The collar is so awesome,
Yeah,
Lynn.
it turned out real good. I'm real
Yeah.
happy.
Fun.
What did you interface it with?
I used that weft interfacing.
From who? Palmer and Fletch or?
It was from a class we took a couple years ago, and I
Oh.
don't remember who the teacher was. And I bought 3 yards of it, and I don't use it very often. I figured, why not? I didn't want it heavy, so I can't remember who it was from, to be honest. But if I remember, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Is there an interfacing that's ideal for collars?
Oh, I've got so many. I think it depends how stiff you want it. This one didn't ask for interfacing in the collar stand, but I did it. I put the interfacing in the collar stand because it was real thin, and I didn't want to make it too stiff. So this is really flexible interfacing, real soft. I think it's all depends on the look you're going for. And
Yeah,
fabric
when
you're
I always
looking
go
at.
for the lightest I have,
Yeah,
the lightest weight, because like Lynn said, you don't want things to be too stiff.
yeah.
And like on a man's shirt, you would go heavier because they're tying a tie and everything. But on a lady's, even on a heavy cotton for a blouse like you're making, I would still use like lightweight, featherweight,
Mhm.
whatever the thinnest, lightest weight is that I have is what goes in there.
Yeah. I used to use that FS 101 all the time, and I've got tons of it now because it was so expensive. Every time it was on sale, I'd buy some. Now I'm good, I'm very good. But I actually felt it was a little too heavy for this project. So I
A
guess,
Trico interfacing is good, even on wovens.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
Trico, I may have it, but I'm not familiar. So I'll look. I've got, oh my God, way too much, way too much.
You-
So I don't know that I'll be doing the little wallet with you guys. I have done it before, so I'll show, it was like a very much of an origami project for me.
Mm.
So if you're good at folding and brain puzzle work, that wallet is fabulous.
I watched some tutorials on it this morning. It looks doable. But
It-
I am a little concerned though that you'll have to have rivets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Do
had to
you
use
put
some-
rivets?
Andrea,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them I've seen that they've just sewn them. They didn't put the rivets in.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. All right, nice work, Lynn. It's
Thank you.
beautiful. How about you, Suzette? How's it going?
I haven't done anything with it since yesterday. It's cut out and ready to go.
Oh, well, that's something.
Yeah. I had
But
to be on-
some of the ladies didn't get an update yesterday, so you'll have to
Yeah.
give them. Yeah.
I have it all cut out and marked, and I'm making it in muslin first,
Mhm.
since I haven't made a fitted down top before.
About how long did it take you, Lynn, to get where you are now? Did you work continuously or just little bits on it? Little bits.
a little at a time and put it down, and because I hadn't done a collar in so long, you know, the turning, but you're talking about the blouse, or are you talking about the purse?
The blouse.
Blouse.
Yeah, I've been working on this for well over a week.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll see, and it's not done, as you can tell. I still need the buttons, the buttonholes, the hem. And the front darts, it's funny, they're too much, I basted everything, so it's not a problem, but the front darts are too much towards the sides, so I have to bring them in. And I'm real apprehensive because there's where I have to bring them into, there's like a line, and I don't want to really go through that line, you know, part. So I want to get it close to that, but you know, in this other, I don't want to go through these
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
So, you know, a lot of it's brain work, and it depends on your fabric. You know, the collar, I had to think a lot about the interfacing, and there's no rush. I mean, sometimes you guys make me feel a little rushed, but I'm holding my own.
Oh, no, we don't want to make you feel rushed.
Well, I'm not going to be the first one done.
Me neither.
We have lots of time for this.
I made a prototype of my
Oh,
bag. It doesn't have interfacing or,
pretty. And that looks big enough to hold your computer, yeah?
yeah, it's got the double zip. But it's
Nice.
real flimsy. I was more worried. I forgot how I was gonna actually put it together, so. And then
Turned out great.
I'm having an Alzheimer's moment. What's
Binding.
this called? Binding. Yeah, but it needs, some hard structure to it, but
That's gonna be adorable.
I forgot how I put the flange or the hinge on here.
Uh-huh.
Because that other bag, I actually made exterior and the interior. And so I could put the zipper. I'm really having trouble with my words this morning. It must be the dentist. I had to go to the dentist this morning. So I had to, then I could tuck the edge of the zipper in the interior and exterior. That was gonna be my side panel, so. Anyway, I think I figured out how to make it stiffer and put more padding and stuff in, but
That looks great. And
That's
you don't
right.
have the same problem Dora had because you got lots of room.
yeah. I was actually thinking of if I'm just gonna use foam or put like something stiffer like Peltex or something in there.
Mhm. Great. Fun, fun, fun. Have you cut out your wallet yet?
No, I'm gonna do that today. I was reading over the pattern again and stuff.
There's one tutorial, and I hope I can get that posted today for you guys, where she made it completely out of cork. And so I'm kind of leaning towards maybe trying that.
Was that Sonar?
She had, I don't remember her name, but she had like dolphin tattoos and blue hair. So,
I don't know if she has tattoo. Sonar has purple hair or pink hair.
yeah, it is cut. She did
And
have
she
color
did it out
hair.
of cork, and I love cork. I've made several things already out of cork, but what I'm concerned about is those side areas are gonna get really thick.
Mm,
And you probably will definitely need rivets for that,
mm.
but I think maybe the first one I'm gonna try out of.
That rip stop or whatever they usually use on the interior of the wallet, which I've never sewn with, but I thought about trying that to get rid of some of the threads.
Ripstop nylon,
For the interior only?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I-
is really thin.
Yeah, I'd wonder if it will slip around on you. How do you feel about that? Like
I
working,
don't know. I have to try to sew with it a little bit first.
Don't
guess
try and
it
press it because it'll melt.
don't press it.
I did that. I very carefully made the whole inside of a wallet with that thinking it would be so lightweight, and then got all the way to the end and absentmindedly got too close to it with the iron and ruined it. So
Well, was it easy to work with?
if you interface it, it's easier to work with, but it's hard to interface it because you need something that'll fuse at a really low temperature. And then you've defeated the purpose of it being lightweight if you interface it. So I haven't found a good solution to that problem. I like to use it because it makes the bags like much lighter weight and I want to be able to put like 20 credit cards in there, like it gives you more room on the interior, but I haven't had good luck with it. And I've tried like looking at wallets that are already made that way, trying to figure out like how did they do this? They must have some that can handle heat or something, because the stuff I've bought in Joann's can't handle the heat.
Well, a lot of them are leather on the outside, so they're not ironing any of it, right?
Right. So I don't know how they're doing their because it is kind of slippery, and without the interfacing, even if you like mark it with, like a friction pen or something and then try and get a crisp fold, it's hard to get, for your card slots and stuff like that. So
Yeah, maybe I won't try that this time.
For the cork, she just top stitched that because you can't iron that either. She just top stitched the top of the card fold and then use clips. So you might be able to do it like that, Suzette. It's just top stitch anything where you would be tempted to iron it instead. Could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can see the benefit of that. I don't think it frays much either, does it?
I don't know. I've never worked with it.
It'll fray up to the next rip, like those little strong threads that make the rip stop. The stuff in between, like when you cut it, you'll get some like loss in there. It'll fray a little bit.
That's exciting.
I don't know.
Well, you don't really have anything to lose because you can make another one.
Right.
We have the pattern, yeah. Okay, fun, cool. All right, Doreen.
Oh, shoot. I was about to let you guys keep talking. I was going to sew this thing up, my one last seam. Okay, I'll put it back on. I've got one last basic seam of this muslin.
Are you hand sewing?
No, I was just pinning it,
Oh,
pinning the side seam here. So I just took it off, but I'm trying to figure out, just trying to do a judging right now of what I want to do. Like I said, this is a muslin. Obviously the last seam here is not sewn up. So this is the pattern. I'm working with view B, which is the white one down here.
Ew,
That's,
I like
that's
that.
the one I've got, okay?
6.7.
And I just used up a couple of pieces of the animal print because I had it. So so I'm just trying to figure out if, because I wanted to have some fun with plaids, but I also, so this is a plaid I'm working with, that I want to work with. I'm just trying, now that I've got it kind of together, I'm just not sure of what to do because I don't want it to get, I want the eye to have fun looking at it. I don't want it to be a mess, you know, just too much wiggling around. And then again, maybe I shouldn't do it because maybe it just won't work with the plaid. So I also can simply work with view C, this guy, which is just a simpler version of it. So I can do that also. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm just gonna try to figure out. That's what I gotta figure out.
I like that one.
This one,
Mm-hmm.
and I almost thought of just saying, let it go, because this I do like also.
I think it's pretty.
Yeah. And it'll be still nice and cozy, warm with the, because this is a lightweight corduroy, and this is just a thicker polyester type of stuff, just a synthetic. So I've also thought of just letting this be like this because it's, and the back is just simply a couple of pleats in the back going down. You know, that's, the back was easy to do. So I'm thinking of maybe just, okay, so of using this guy, do you think I should just let it go and not try to mess with it?
What are you gonna do with that? Make another one?
That's what I was saying. If I could make an interesting, where the eye has an interesting, looking at this and working with the plaids, it doesn't have to be sewn. I mean, it can be sewn on the bias, can be cut any which direction I want, anything I want to do on any of it. That's-
Doreen, I'm wondering if maybe you could, I think Joanne suggested this, or somebody else had suggested this, take a picture, make a copy of the one, the view B from the pattern envelope and enlarge it. I don't know if you can do that any place whether you can scan it or whether you can take it to the library and make it a bigger version of the.
So you said this guy here taking a picture, but do it a
it's-
larger version?
Yeah, try and enlarge it and then draw the pattern, the plaid on it in the direction you want it to go. So like on the bottom part, do you want it to be on the bias?
I remember this.
Yeah, that might be because when you want to play with plaids like this, it would probably be a good idea to start with just a flat sketch of it and see where you think those plaids are going
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah,
I would also,
Decide.
it could be a really fun thing to do. It could be fun, but like I said, I don't want it to be where the eye is just totally messed up looking at it.
I have to say, I feel like the pattern with the shawl collar, it's more of a feminine look and drapey by the looks of it. It looks really pretty with this fabric that you've got right now. The plaid will make it to me look more boxy. Even if you put it on a bias, it's going to have a stiffer look to it, where this pattern with the shawl collar just makes it look more delicate. Delicate's not really the word, but more of a feminine look to it. So it may not be the right even fabric for it.
It might not be because I'm having a problem with it since I got it more put together. I'm just not seeing, I'm not seeing it easily looking, oh, that'll look wonderful like I thought. No, I'm not, since I got it put together this morning, I'm going, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm kind of,
How wide are those, each little block, like 1.5 inches on the plaid?
on these guys,
Mhm.
it is. They are each about 1.1 1/4.
Okay, lay it, just drape it right over half of that so I could see if I'm just having such a hard time picturing this.
Me too.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it can't work.
I know. I
It's
can't
just
drop it just
yeah.
because I can't quite see it right now. I can't just.
I just want to see when you lay it up there if anything happens. Like give us only half of it so I could still see the pattern, just half, yeah. I just can't see it. It's orange and,
Orange and navy blue.
it's UVA colors. You could come here, they'll love it.
I think you could make a stunning shirt out of this plaid, but I don't think it's this pattern.
So that
I
is
think
as close as I can get to it. And then I just, yeah, I'm liking part of it, but I think I'm having a hard time finding a pattern to do something interesting with it. That's what I'm having a hard time finding. And if I just, after a while, I might just give up on it for right now, and I'll find something eventually, something will come in my face, but right now, I mean, I like this by itself. Just that, I can see, that looks just fine. But then when you get the bottom and you get this, it just.
I think it would be too much.
I'm not seeing it right now.
Yeah, the fabric's really dynamic, and I think you need a simpler design so that the fabric is the main focus. Because if you crisscross it and line it up and match it,
and you got the sleeves, and
it would be tricky to try and match it. And
I'm
then
not trying to match it all. It's not about being perfection with matching. It's about, I can put it on the bias. I can do a variety of stuff. There's going to be very little. The only matching would be the princess seam right through here. I would have that matching.
When I think you could make a stunning blouse, if the kind of pattern that Andrea is using, that's just like a simple darted straight down the front blouse. If you use that fabric and did one side straight and one side bias on the front, it would be like super cool.
Oh, that is a fun
And
idea.
super interesting, but it would just be kind of a
What's your
basic,
pattern, Andrea?
like that style.
Hang on one second. I'm in the wrong view, so give me a second here. Get back to boundary view. Okay, so something. Okay, so I think what we're getting at for right now, I'm dropping this one and I'll finish this guy off and move on to something different. That's too bad. I thought I had something that was going to be kind of fun with the plaid, but this I'm still happy with. So,
Mhm.
okay, that's what I was working on last night and this morning. So, but thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Doreen. That's awesome.
Okay.
How are you, Gloria? Did you get on the laptop okay?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Good, good, good.
So, last Thursday was my first time with your group. And I told you that I had missed Tuesday because I had a conflict and I thought I was going to go ahead and drop off. But then in looking for the NCW pattern, which I couldn't find anywhere, searching and searching. And I thought, well, maybe I didn't get the PDF. Maybe I actually ordered the pattern, which
Did
turned
you
out I
really?
didn't.
Lucky you.
And in looking through all of my paper patterns, I found this Silhouette Classic Blouse pattern that I had for like a year and a half and scared to cut into. So I thought maybe now's the time because you ladies could help me out and give me suggestions, which I've already been jotting stuff down from others. So now to try to find the fabric, because remember, most of my sewing room is still packed up in boxes out in the garage. But I found a kit that I had ordered probably 3 years ago from Craftsy, and it's for a maxi skirt. It doesn't tell me what kind of fabric it is, but on the envelope pattern, one of the suggestions was rayon challis. And I'm pretty sure this is a rayon challis.
Pretty.
I pre-washed it already and I was gonna iron it. But I like Dara's idea with doing the solid knit back because there's like, I think 3 yards or 2.5 yards of this, and it's like 50 inches wide. And I thought, I don't want to use it all up on this one blouse that I might mess up, which I'm thinking more and more, maybe just getting an old bed sheet and trying to do a muslin for the first go round before I cut into my rayon challis. But again, then I would still have enough left over for a little skirt if I do the solid back with a different knit fabric. So that was a good suggestion. And something else I came across when I was going through all the fabric out in the garage.
Oh, fun.
Not like exactly like yours, but it's very,
It's gorgeous. And it is so popular right now, Gloria. Like to me, like this is an old kind of old timer, style, but it is back.
And I think
You
when
make it, Gloria?
Sorry?
Did you make that? Did you make that? Yes.
This is
did
just
you-
fabric.
It's just fabric.
Oh, I thought it was, okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
But I think what I was planning to do is a lot of my friends are trying to get me into quilting and I'm not really into quilting. But they said, well, you could do a cheat and get something like this. And this is years ago. This is probably like 8 years old. They said, get something like that and then just practice quilting, either do a, quilting each square or doing different, squiggles or circles or whatever. And I'd forgotten I had it until I was looking for fabric for this blouse. And I thought, oh, that kind of looks like what Andrea was showing because I watched the rerun a couple days ago.
Oh, nice.
So I'm thrilled to be here.
Gloria, I'm glad that you didn't drop out. But
Oh,
lucky
no.
you to have that print pattern. I don't think you can buy them like that because that was my first hope to buy it like that.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, that's long gone.
Yeah, so I'm not going to cut into that either until I know what I'm doing. And 'cause I like the idea of what you're doing with that in combination with the chambray accents.
Very exciting. Okay, cool. So you say most of the sewing room is packed up, but do you have the sewing machine?
Yes, I'm not sure how I'm going to use it. my dining room table is one of those very tall countertop tables.
Mhm.
Everybody in my family is very tall. My son is 6'3", my son-in-law, one is 6'6", one's 6'2", and so
Oh,
years
God.
ago I bought this tall countertop, and so I can't really comfortably reach a foot pedal. But I do also have the button on and off feature. I just seldom used it, so I might have to train myself to start using that and see how that goes.
I love
Gloria,
it.
I had a similar situation in my sewing room at a certain time when we were reconfiguring things. And I had a short stool that I put underneath the machine and put the pedal on that. So it raised it up so it was the right height. It wasn't like a padded stool. It was a kind of a hard top thing. And you put that skid stuff on it,
Oh, okay.
the rug underlayment or whatever. And then I was able to get it up where I needed it. So you can configure something maybe that way.
That's a good suggestion, Casey. My years ago when I was my daughter and her husband were in the Air Force. She's since retired. He's still in, but they lived in near Raleigh, North Carolina, and I used to fly up there quite often. And I started teaching the kids how to sew, and the two girls who were 9 and 10 at the time were really taking to it. And can we do this, Granny? Can I want to do this and I want to do that. Well, their little brother said, I want to learn how to sew too. And he was, I think he was about 6 at the time. Well, one of the girls had gotten a Christmas present from somebody that was what I call a toy sewing machine. It was one of those little tiny plastic singers. And the thread was always breaking and coming undone. And he was the only one with his tiny fingers that could thread that thing. And so we started cutting out pieces of brown felt with pinking shears and had him doing rectangles and putting googly eyes and pipe cleaners. And he made like 15 reindeer ornaments with little pockets to put candy canes in. And he was so proud of that. The next time I came, we started working together on little toiletry kits with a zipper. And when he graduated from this little toy machine, which was a push button start on and off, to their regular big singer, he couldn't reach the foot pedal. So we put the box that the old machine had come in under the table for him to reach the foot pedal. And that worked out fine. I'd forgotten about that. But the next time I flew up there, I said, okay, girls, do you know where that box is to put under the table for Marcus? And he goes, Granny, I don't think I need it. And I says, yeah, you remember you couldn't reach the pedal? Well, that kid had grown so fast. He's 10 now, and he's going to hit, over 6 feet for sure. So
Wow.
good memories you just brought up for me.
Okay, cool. Gloria, you're going to be on your way then. This is awesome. Okay, how about you, Joanne? How's it going?
Well, as you know, I was taking classes this week with the Sewing and Stitchery Expo, and I took 11 classes. So as far as the shirt, the only thing I did was a little trimming just to get it fit better. I don't know if you can even see there is a bust line in there, so getting those lined up and things like that. But that's just ready to now just stitch now that all the workshops are done for that. But I thought I would let you know a little bit about some of the workshops that I did take. One of them I really liked was one by Pamela Leggett. She did one on how to take a t-shirt pattern, and she used hers, and turn it into a Chanel inspired knit jacket. So I had just, as you know, well, this was the Pamela's t-shirt that I recently did this year. So now that this pattern's all fit, I can redo it so I can turn it into that knit jacket. So I thought that was going to be fun sometime later this year, maybe. Another one I took with Casey was the hands-on digitizing class. I don't know how she liked it. I enjoyed it. This was one that you really do things from scratch. So you just take like a drawing, a simple drawing, and learning how to actually put in stitches with the machines and how to add the fill and how dense it should be and why. And so that was a lot of fun. I do have their 30-day free trial, so I don't have a program. So I'm using that and trying to go through some of their challenges that you get when you have this free trial. So I'm looking
So-
forward to.
You can, like, if you own an embroidery machine, but you don't have digitizing software, this is something like that you can purchase and it stays in the cloud now?
Well, yeah, you can download their software onto your machine. So I've got a downloaded 30-day trial.
Lucky you.
And so, yes, just being able to work with it now and know what to do and what all the different things mean. And then you can just take that design and stitch it out on your embroidery machine. So that's a fun thing. I think that it's a lot of brain power, but it looks like it's something I could do.
The thing that was nice about it is that after taking the class, you can decide, yes, this was interesting. I would like to digitize, or no way, that was too
Yeah.
complicated. I'm never going to do it. So save yourself the time and aggravation.
And T suggested using a mouse with it, where I just use the laptop right and left clicks, and it worked fine for me. Another class I took was on In the Hoop embroidery for heirloom. And so we made lace. This was just cotton netting to begin with. And then this is a Madeira design technique, which was a lot of fun. I really like that. You might be interested in this one, Andrea. This woman taught about using her pleather. And the pleather was like, you would put like a wide handle, like this is a narrow handle, but like if you had a handbag, it would just be like, that would be where you would attach your handle in there. It's basically a bound buttonhole technique, but using the pleather, using it for the magnetic strip for, your handbags, just putting it on with behind your magnet, using it as trim, making handles. So we just went through all the different things that you could use, and her pleather is really nice, I have to say. It was nice.
What
I
kind?
wish she
What's her
um
brand?
her name, let's see. It's Cheryl Kuzik by Paradiso. And her website, I have to say, I wish she sold the pleather by the yard. She doesn't.
Oh,
She gave some suggestions where I might find pleather, but what she sells is like kits of, not like large supplies of pleather, but smaller cuts of pleather, I should say, not leather, pleather. So you can use it for adding onto your handbag. So, but it was very nice to work with, I have to say. I'm hoping I can find it somewhere.
mhm.
And
You
then,
might also enjoy the marine vinyl, Joanne.
what's that?
It's marine vinyl. It's really nice to sew with too.
Okay. This was nice in that you didn't have to back it with any kind of interfacing. It was thick enough that it was, that you didn't have to back it, but it was pliable so that you would be able to use it in multiple layers. So for like these handles, these are 3 layers for the handles, but yet they're still able to move and work with your machine. It just worked really nice. So we'll see if I can find some. And then another one I did was on making Native American baby moccasins. So here's,
Oh my God.
but you can turn her pattern into any size. So you can make them for yourselves, your kids, whatever. So if you like, this even has the little strip of leather, going like on the seam here and in the back. So we learned all the techniques of, she's a Native American and she showed how to do this. So this is a traditional for at least some of the tribes. This is a traditional pattern. So that was a lot of fun. And all you used with that, this is lamb, but it's from lamb chamois from your auto supply.
Really?
Yes. So it was able to be cut. Now some are better than other, and you had to look for the ones that actually said lamb, but it is an actual leather. So
Yeah.
it didn't cost much to put that together. And then one more I just figured I'd mention that I really enjoyed. You take 5 pieces of wire and a dowel, and you're creating a strip of interwoven wires. And as you're looping them through like the row before, like you just keep looping around and weaving it through the loop before, the one before, there are 5 pieces of wire going straight down around the dowel. And then you just keep looping them through the one before. And eventually you get like a 10-inch strip. Then you put it through this cool device. And this is the size that the necklace originally was. Now it's this size. So, and as you're putting them through each of the holes after you've made your length, you're actually stretching and condensing the wire to actually create a denser piece of wire. So now all I have to do is put my findings on, and I have a wire necklace, and you can add a pendant to it or something. So I really enjoyed that. And we pretty much finished this within the class. So except for the findings.
They call that Viking knitting.
Viking knitting, yes.
If you're looking for, there's a number of YouTubes. I missed that class. I wish I had known about that because I would have
Oh, I loved it. I had a good time. Trichinopoly, I think is what it's called. And I think she's going to offer it on her website too.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. You were busy, Jillian. Any others?
It was. The other ones I took were How to Sew Art. That one talked about taking like different pieces of fabric on different monotones, should I say, of a color. You didn't have to do a monotone, but basically you take a picture and you copy it with fabric by making small squares. Now, what I didn't like is that all of her squares were raw edged. And so she didn't really create a quilted, finished, edged piece. She created pieces that were basically, I don't want to say glued down, but they were all just squares. And she was upfront about, you know, this was just a trial and error thing that she had done. She has created books on it, but her way of doing it and the product that she sells would make it easier to do something like that. So I've always wanted to do that, take a picture and try to turn it into something that had all the different tones. And she explained how you would choose the tones. And so that was interesting. Made a land.
Thread painted?
Could you say
Have you
that
ever
again?
thread painted? Have you ever thread painted?
I haven't, but I've always wanted to do that too. I just,
Yeah.
you know, trying to again just maneuver your fabric. I'm not, I guess I need more of a class where you have to sit with somebody and they say, nope, do it this way, this is better, or just to read the book and try to figure it out. The books aren't clear enough for me. They're not basic enough. So I'd like to do it anyways. Did a landscape pin, did a little bit about armhole balancing, and then learned how to tat, which I've always wanted to do.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was fun. I've been wanting to do for years. I've had a class that I looked at, still couldn't figure it out. I had a friend try to teach me. I still couldn't do it. Where I finally clicked.
Yay, that's
And
awesome.
so now I know how to do it, and I can add little trims to pockets or things like that. I don't expect to be doing long, big pieces on tatting, but yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I was exhausted. I have to say by Saturday night, my brain was just fried because we're
That's
3
a
hours
lot.
difference from, you know, they were saying, oh, it's 7:30, have a nice night. And I'm like, no, it's 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
That's hard. Okay,
Yeah.
so fun, Joanne.
And
Anything
I know
else?
this has nothing to do with it, but you guys have been talking about wallets, and I just wanted to show you, this is a wallet I made, which I need to remake remake, but on the inside, it has all
Ooh.
these
Wow. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
pockets for your cards. And this was just a free thing online. And if anybody's interested, I can show you where that is.
Yeah, do share
God.
that for sure.
I'll have to
That-
look it up again, but I'll share it another time. Yeah, where to find
That's like a card carousel.
it. I like it a lot, and I need to redo it because it definitely is worn out because I've used it so much.
Cool. So fun. Okay. Thank you for that awesome share. Kim, how is the shirt?
It's coming along. I did the collar yesterday.
I am in love with these collars.
Good job.
Yep. So I did that last night. It came along very well. I was very pleased. I haven't did anything else, but I do have a question for the ladies that are very familiar with stuff. I've only had one serger in my life, and it is old. This friend of mine is selling a serger. It's a Pfaff Hobby Lock $7.99. How good is that? I don't
Alright.
know anything about them. So
Joanne owns it.
This is the cover style. I don't know if you can see it. Is it looking like that?
I've never seen it yet. She hasn't
Oh,
showed
okay.
it
I
to
think
me
it's
yet.
similar to this one. This was, I think, the prototype. And then they made the Hobby Lock, which I think has like a little container on the outside and a few other things. I like it. I just feel like I'm ready for an upgrade. And it can do all the things that you would want to do. Again, I wouldn't get rid of the one you have because you might want to use it just for
Mine is 27 years old. That's how old my surgery is. So
I bought this one in the 90s, the late 90s probably. It's jumpy. It definitely bounces on the table, so you would want to put like a pad or something underneath it.
well, I'm
And
considering it because she's gotten this one serviced every year, and
nice.
she's only charging $100 for it.
Oh, that's worth it. It's
Yeah.
definitely worth it then. Yes, because I
Yeah.
do like it. I've had it for years and I really do like it. It's just a learning curve for the way they do their book and things like that. But if you already have one, you'll at least understand how to do it. It's definitely easier to thread than some of the really old ones. You just have to figure out where to put where the little thing is that you have to press to make it visible. And that's the trick, really.
Yeah.
But it's not like you have to stick your hand way underneath and try to like get it in there. This is at least easier to thread.
Yeah. I feel pretty good about it because she was a teacher, so she taught sewing. So, and I know she's maintained the machine pretty well. She has like 3 machines. One of them is one that I use all the time, and I was like, I don't need that machine. I already got it. So, but this one I thought, okay, I might consider. It's $100. What the heck?
That's nothing.
Yeah, no, I would consider
go
it for that
wrong.
price.
Yeah.
So so me and her have been kind of talking back and forth all day, just to kind of. I thought I might just tell her, yeah, let's go for it.
Hey, Kim, if you get it, we want to see you demo it for us.
No, that ain't gonna happen. So, it took me forever to figure out the first surgery.
Well, if you do get it and you need lessons on how to figure out the little things, we can hook up and figure
She's
it
got
out.
all the books, and she's got all those knives and whatever else, all the parts. And I feel pretty lucky that the lady's got everything to this machine. It's like, okay, and it still works.
Yay, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Exciting.
so really, I don't really have a whole lot more to do on this. I think I'm going to use the gray seam binding on here because I think the black would just be too contrasting. So it's close to being done. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. So
Have you put in the one buttonhole yet?
no,
You gonna
but
save
my
it for last?
my OnePlus machine has an attachment, and now you just press the number and tell them what you want. So that's pretty easy. So.
Mhm.
So I'm not really I don't really concern myself with buttonholes too much with this machine. So
That's nice. Did you pick out the button that you want though?
no, I have so many buttons. So that's a whole nother issue. So I'll figure that out. You know me, it takes a while.
Gorgeous. Yeah, that fabric is so beautiful. To me, the hard part will be choosing the right button.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah, I've
only
got-
need one button, right?
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna put two. I think I'm gonna put one at the top of the collar, at that under collar, because it just seems like it's just gonna be hanging there for no reason. So,
It'll still be kind of decorative.
right. So I think I'm gonna put two buttons on here. So I don't think I'm gonna put two buttonholes, but I'm at least put two buttons.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
so,
Then if the primary button falls off, you got a backup.
oh, believe me, I got so many backups.
What if you're traveling though and you need that button?
And that second will get moved up.
There you go. I used to be a flight attendant, and remember in the days when you could get the little sewing kit on the airplane?
Mhm.
Not
Don't you still
anymore.
carry, don't you guys carry a little sewing kit?
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
And I know not to go to a wedding without it. No matter how small the purse is, you always have to have your little sewing kit because somebody does something and you're like, just a minute, meet me in the bathroom.
I had to help the bride one time. The bride's seam split apart and I had to put it back together again.
Wow, Joanne, that's a true hero. Woo. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, nice work, Kim. That fabric is stunning.
Thanks, everybody, for your help.
Miss Faye, thank you for your patience.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. You learn so much just in the conversation because there's so many really accomplished sewers in this group. Well, I haven't made much progress. I didn't do anything this weekend. I started tracing off the pattern. And I'm actually making it a combination of fitting challenges and see how well I do. Because I'm trying to, like, Peggy Sagers is one of those read your wrinkles.
Oh, cute.
And
What?
I have
Peggy
different
Sagers read your wrinkles? What?
Yes, because where there are wrinkles, there's a fitting problem. and they're
Oh,
breaking
that.
through.
Yes, yes,
Not
yes.
the ones on my face, the ones in the shirt.
Yeah, no. She's got that LCD thing or whatever it is.
Yeah, but like I have a problem with sleeves always wrinkling, and I have to rotate it forward, of course, as well as the shoulder seam. But I'm also going to lengthen it a bit, that it's too short. And I'm also lowering the armhole because I get some folding in there. And I'm just reading all these things and looking at them and seeing if I can get a decent fit. So I'm making a little challenge out of it. Because sewing a shirt, you know, if you don't want it to fit, it's easy. Cut out the pattern, sew it up. And then you have this thing that doesn't fit anywhere near your body. I don't know who the patterns fit.
Well,
But-
mine better fit me.
Yeah, but you're tall and slender and you probably like the pattern. But I'm overly endowed and short. And it just doesn't work. And I have very narrow shoulders, a hollow chest. All those are fun things to fit. And I'm just using different, like I have to increase the back just a little bit. But Louise Cutting had the easiest way to do it with a yoke. She said add a little bit to the top of the back of the shirt and a little bit to the yoke. And it's a very simple way to do it that way.
Mhm.
Some fixes aren't that big of a deal.
No, so I'm making a cute shirt, I hope. And I'm trying to solve the fitting challenges.
That's
Cool.
nice. Are you gonna take notes as you go so you don't forget?
Oh, I do that. Like I'm copying this blouse. And it's actually working like a muslin because I'm saying if I move this here, take a little out of here and a little like that. And I have a notepad. And even when I do a pattern, I'll either mark it right on the pattern itself or put a note in there of what changes I made.
Mhm.
But that's the thing that keeps me from sewing more than anything. The extensive alteration work before. I don't know how to draft my own patterns like you do.
I think Dara and Casey have been practicing that a long time. You too, Joanne, you know how to do it as well, don't you? No? Yeah.
Well,
You take classes?
I
the thing
took
is that
classes.
once you've got the basics, but then you decide you want to do something a little different. Like I'm working on a vest, a t-shirt vest, not t-shirt, sweatshirt vest. And I thought, well, I'll just try to make it up as is because it's a vest, it should be fine. There was copious amounts of fabric in this, armhole area. So I'm having to, redo that. So every time you switch to something a little different, then you have to kind of rethink, okay, where's that, kind of like what Peggy says, where's that wrinkle, where's that extra fabric, and how do I get rid of it? So there's always a little something. And I was going to try drafting my own, and I thought, no, I want to just start from this. I had the extra sweatshirt material, so I was able to do that. But if you want to, if you don't want to have to make a muslin every time, yeah, it does require a lot of forethought.
And
But it's-
good measurements, I think, because for me, I never took a class. Well, I won't say I didn't take a class on it. I'm not sure it was helpful, but basically, I have a book that tells you how to go about doing it, and it's going on this premise that you take a pattern that will be a tight fit on your mannequin. So you start with all of those really good measurements that are just going to be skin tight. It's your second skin kind of measurements, but we know that's not what's going to be a good pattern. Then you have to learn how to adjust that to put the ease in, what kind of ease you want. So it's still, for me, it's, I'm still practicing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I did on that pattern. I need to remember to do it that the next time. And I don't like to do it all the time, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I think it's very cumbersome. I just want, but now that I'm getting some good slopers to have a base pattern off of, that's more helpful to me now. So yeah, I had to start somewhere. And then now that I've got some slopers that are actually fitting, that's hopefully going to be easier for me as I go along with all the new patterns.
But
When
truthfully, but
I
don't you
took
think
classes that are called flat patterning is the class you want to take. And you learn how to draft from scratch from your measurements. So you're not starting from scratch. Every time you draft something, you don't start from scratch. You start from your basic, I don't remember, this is not really a sloper, but there's like no seam allowances. Like this is where my bust apex is. This is where my lengthen lines are. And just like Joanne was saying, this is basic to every single pattern. And then the rest of it is ease and style that you add to it. So you don't start from scratch. And then since I've made like 50 t-shirts, I don't go back to this. I go to a t-shirt that I've made. I try it on. I think, does it still fit? Do I want it bigger, smaller? What do I want? And then I go to that pattern and make my adjustments to that pattern. So you don't have to reinvent it every single time. I never start from scratch anymore. And this is from 2014 was when I took this class. So I'm 100% sure this would not fit, but I actually had to take the class twice, and I have a background in architectural drafting. So I took the class the first time. It was like an 8-week class. I got a lot out of it, but then when I got home and tried to make stuff, I still couldn't do it. And then I waited about a year and I took the class the second time. Same class, same teacher. Got so much more out of it the second time because I had tried to do some of the things. I understood what I didn't understand. Sorry, barking.
And this is the book that I used. Of course, she said made easy, but I'm not sure it was easy, but this is the one, and it's by Connie Crawford.
Oh.
Dara, so you got my attention when I thought what you were going to say was that sloper pattern that you had created, that you'd use that because I had made with an excellent teacher probably about 10 plus years ago. We made all of every piece, the bodice, the skirt, not every piece, it's a bodice and a skirt. And so what she had us do was with that piece that what you just had in your hand, I would then, with a pattern, any pattern I would take out, I would lay that down on.
Same
And-
thing.
Okay, that's okay. Because
You can do
that's
that.
what I would love to have again, because it just solves all the issues.
Right, you put this on and then you can see whether it's even gonna be anywhere close to your size. Do you?
Well, and then you can also see if the shoulder seams are in the right area, because if they're too far back or
Yep, you see
any of those issues,
instantly what you need to do, and
it's easy.
yeah,
it's-
it makes it easy. You know, you have your, like, one thing I learned is I am not able to draft a regular sleeve without a dart. I need so much fullness in I call these the girls. I know a lot of people don't call them girls, but these are the big girls. And, you know, to get a blouse, it has to have a dart or it has to be 2-piece. There is physically no way to do a straight thing and get comfort out of that for
Okay. Yeah.
so you learn a lot about your own fitting issues in the process of taking one of these classes.
And you don't care what number size it gets to be. It just
Doesn't
is what
matter.
your body
It's
is.
your size.
It makes
And-
it. I mean, I think actually when we moved, I think it actually got thrown away. And when I found it was thrown away, I just about lost my mind, because I knew how much work went into it. I mean, it was many weeks of going through this class session with her, and she went through everything with us individualized. So I had I had 3, because you also have a sleeve.
Mhm.
I mean, it's worth it to do that. It just saves you an immense amount of time.
Yeah.
And
if
I
you
would
could
truly
find an
say for the-
instructor near you who's teaching this, usually it's someone who's taught like community college or high school or college level teaches one of these classes. But you need like a lot to digest. It's not something you're going to learn on a 1-day class or a weekend even. It's just too much.
No.
And I would truly say for the most part, every pattern, and I'm not going to say every pattern, but it's like most patterns are really going to be the same every time. You're going to bring your shoulders forward, or you're going to raise your bust, or you're going to, add to the underbust, or whatever you're going to do. It's probably going to be similar for every other pattern afterwards. I will say, however, if some of these independent companies will say, we have made these specifically for people with these issues. So Pamela's pattern, for example, I had to do something with it I hadn't never had to do with anybody else's pattern, because she made her t-shirt pattern for people with rounded shoulders. I have very straight shoulders. So I had to do like a sway back thing off the back of my shoulder area, because there was so much added fabric there, but I've never had to do that before. So you do have to pay attention, especially more to the independent ones that say, these are for curvier people, or these are for this people, because they're going to do things to patterns that if you've always done it a certain way, because you know what your areas are, that might throw you off, because now the pattern's going to be made for somebody with certain problems, should I say.
The whole point is those pattern pieces that get developed are just, to me, that's the most, I mean, I go through more work on each individualized pattern now than I used to, just because I know there's some things that I got to do without question. I know there's some things with a small, little shoulder, all that. I know I've got to do certain things without question, but I don't know exactly where it's going to fall when it falls on me in the front. I literally have to, do a quick draping of the pattern piece. I have to. I don't know where it's going to fall. I mean, it could be because I kind of go in a little bit through here, and most people don't, but I go in a little bit. So I always have a little bit extra through here. I know that, but I don't know how much to take in because I don't have that sloper pattern.
I think Peggy Sagers had an interesting thing one time, which I suppose if I really thought about it, I'd be like, yeah, patterns are only about circumference. That
Yeah,
is the only thing they do is make sure it goes around you, circumference.
yeah.
The rest of it is fit that you have to do. So if you're only getting a pattern based on circumference, you know, you're going to be big in certain areas and not in others. That
Right.
means you know you're going to have to make changes.
Yep. Yep, you do. Well, do you, I mean, I'm sorry, do you have a sloper type of a pattern or the hard thing that she just had, that Dara just had?
I don't, I have, yes, I have slopers. I do not have it in the hard form, but I have
Okay.
slopers that I have created.
Okay.
One for a bodice, one for a skirt or
Do you use
pants.
them so that you don't have to do as much work on your own?
Those just happened within this past year, so I'm just
Oh, okay.
beginning to use those, yes.
Okay,
Okay, guys.
all right.
Sharon, that was fun. I learned a lot too. All right, so our next meeting is Thursday if you're interested in making the necessary clutch wallet, and we're probably going to need at least 2 weeks to put that together. And then we meet on Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock Eastern for show and tell. All
Will
right.
the link for the necessary wallet be somewhere if we wanted to come to it?
What the link to the Zoom? Is that what you mean?
No, for the
Okay.
pattern, however,
You
whatever
have
you're
to
doing. for the-
purchase the pattern, Joanne, if you want it. And I think, was it $12.95 or $9.95? Does anyone remember?
And where is it? How do we find that link for that? For the
Here,
pattern?
I'll get it for you right now, Joanne.
Thank you.
Emmeline bags. www.emmelinebags.com.
Oh, Emmeline.
Thank you.
And it's a PDF, Joanne, so you can just print it right out.
Yep.
Let's see here. I've got it for you.
Andrea, I've got a doctor appointment on Thursday. I didn't realize that was made some time ago, so unfortunately I'm gonna miss. But I think I'm a little bit, the cork pattern that you saw, did she make that herself into one piece pattern?
Yes, yes.
I'm a little bit intimidated by that. I don't know if I can do that, but I might practice on some.
Yeah, I'm hoping to too. But in this workshop or class that we're going to do the 2 weeks, we're just going to go step by step with the pattern.
Yeah.
So if you miss this first session, Gloria, you can catch the replay, and then you have your pattern too.
Right.
Okay.
I won't see you either because I'm going to be tied up this Thursday and the next Thursday.
Oh, I hope they'll let you go after that, Faye. You're gonna be tied. You're gonna be tied up. I hope they'll untie you. We're gonna miss you.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, so I couldn't do Monday. But I'll try next week. I don't think so far Monday and Tuesday are clear.
Okay, that sounds fun. And then we'll show y'all our wallets when we see you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm debating whether to chop one of the blouses up. Dillard's had a sale and I got enough. It cost me $8.14 for the blouse. I'm not kidding, a $39 blouse for $8.14. I paid more for patterns. So I'm thinking the easy way, just take it apart and make a pattern.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody have a good couple days. I'll see you on Friday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.